show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August 2nd, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell. And it's the month of August, Canes fans, and you know what that means. The season is upon us. Training camp starts on Friday. It's going to be a wild ride. But Matt, talking about wild rides, this weekend was quite one of its own. Just an enormous amount of recruiting activity. Once again, we had the opportunity to be out at the U on Saturday, checking out what was going on with the pool party, and got to talk to some of the recruits and get a little feel for some of the buzz going on campus. The greatest buzz really didn't have anything to do with the pool party at all. It was the fact that 5-star defensive back Jaheim Singletary from Jacksonville made his way down to Miami for a pretty extensive, hardcore visit with the Hurricanes, and returned home. And then on Sunday, he decommitted from Ohio State, which set off a whole bunch of buzz in a lot of places, not just Miami, but also Gainesville, where the Florida Gators are hoping to land him, and Georgia, where the Bulldogs are hoping to get him as well. So this is going to become quite a ride here down the stretch in recruiting. And, Jaheim's not giving a lot of hints to anybody. So that means a lot of work is ahead for us.
Yeah. I mean, T-Rob has built a great relationship with him. So if the kid goes just based on a coach, I think he comes to Miami. But, he's going to go through the process. Kids aren't always picking colleges just based on a coach. So we're going to have to wait and see. But certainly good news from Miami. I mean, if they can get this kid, it would be the best, cornerbacks DB class I can remember. And I've been here a while.
Yeah, people have been asking on the message boards at CaneSport.com, would they take 4 cornerbacks?
Yeah. I mean, if it's these 4, why not? I mean,
absolutely. Like,
turn away.
Yeah, I mean, and we had a chance to talk to Fagans a little bit this weekend, and I mean, he's a bigger kid. Like, he's the kind of kid that might potentially grow into a safety as he gets into a college strength and conditioning program, and so you don't ever know with DBs, and you've also got the striker position. So listen, if you can get top shelf players at any position in a recruiting class, you do it. And you worry about it later, and you can balance out the numbers as you go along. And there's no question that they would take all 4 of these kids if they come and into the class and then stick in the class. No doubt about that. All right, so Singletary, Matt, that was obviously the biggest news of the weekend, but there was quite a bit of other action going on. Let me talk first about another developing story of someone that was not able to be at the pool party, and that's offensive lineman Malik Agbo, a guy that the Hurricanes have been on for quite some time now. And we're starting to see hints that Miami's doing very well in that recruitment and are certainly going to be in it right till the very end. You spoke to Malik. Tell us your impressions after that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as optimistic about Malik after he visited in June as I am now. I mean, he just seems like things have really ramped up. He's got that bond now with Garen Justice. They're talking every day, nonstop conversations and texting. He's going to come back, pay his own way from far away, to come back for a game. These are all indications usually that, a kid has a very good chance of joining that program. So he's going to take another 3 official visits. We're going to have to wait probably till late November, early December to see where he's going. But as of now, if I had to pick where he's going, I'd say Miami, But again, go through these visits, things change in a hurry. So we'll see.
Yeah, so, I mean, the bottom line is everyone's been stressing out about this recruiting class because of the slow pace of commitments, things like that. And I think the thing that everybody has to remember here is that Miami is playing a numbers game, and they're not looking to sign 25 kids this year. They are not looking for roster fillers in this recruiting class. They are looking for difference-making elite football players. And when you're going to get in the game against Florida, against Georgia, against the other top teams in the country, like they are for a lot of these kids that they're recruiting, it's going to take more time in most cases. And, I don't see them reaching for plan B, plan C kids right now. I think they're going to keep recruiting the kids they're recruiting. I think they're prepared for a recruiting class in the 12 to 15 range. If that's how it shakes out, they can always go in the into the transfer portal to get additional players moving forward. And I absolutely love LOVE everything I am seeing in the way Miami is recruiting this year. Obviously, we talked about the other day, and maybe a few things might have gotten misinterpreted, Matt, and we might as well clarify. When we were talking about the in-town, in South Florida players as opposed to recruiting outside of South Florida players, I don't think either one of us lines up in the camp of don't recruit South Florida players. I know what I've been trying to say is don't rely exclusively on South Florida players. Recruit Shamar Stewart, recruit Earl Little, recruit the top tier kids from South Florida, but be careful about loading the roster with the second and third tier, even if it might offend some people locally, because if you're ever going to win anything here again at Miami, you're going to need better players than what you've been recruiting the last 10 or 20 years when you've been doing that. It has not worked, and that's come through loud and clear. And I think that the coaches in the program now are seeing that, and they're reaching higher, and that's a good thing. And you astutely pointed out last week also that Miami's not going to win without getting the better players from South Florida, and I think that holds true too. So there's a lot of them here that we're going to be watching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add. I think you can't win without local kids, and you cherry pick outside the state. It's just a shame that there is recruiting momentum you can get when you get some top local kids to commit, and the fact that they're not means that Miami's not benefiting from that early momentum with local kids telling other local kids stay home and make the program great. And it's not good when, like you just said, you can't win long term without getting these local kids at home. So, let's just wait and see at this point. But it's disappointing that all these commits are from out of state, to me. I mean, as good as they are, as great as they may be, you're not winning national championships with out-of-state kids constantly. You need to get that in-state buzz every single year, and they're not getting it this year. I mean, to me, that's to have a successful class, you've got to have top local kids every single year to keep that cycle going. You can't have these top kids going other places and then recruiting their friends to go those places also. You just can't succeed like that.
Well, we got a reprieve on that last year. This year, it's a little bit shakier, no argument. Shamar Stewart was in College Station, Texas this past weekend and visiting Texas A&M. Marvin Jones was not anywhere near the pool party. From what we saw, certainly. Earl Little is clearly not going to Miami. Julian Armella is clearly not going to Miami. So we don't know yet what Wesley Besaint is doing, but he would probably be the next in kind of like the next tier. But the point is, no, it's not the ideal situation locally. We're not going to sugarcoat it and lie to anybody. But if you can get a 5-star safety from Jacksonville, I think that'll soften the blow of losing Earl Little to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So, you can live in both worlds, I guess, as long as you're succeeding in that alternate universe there, which is going out of town and getting kids. All right, so we talked about Singletary. We talked about Agbo. We've also got a story this morning on a 2023 linebacker from Georgia by the name of Raul Aguirre, who visited Miami. So we've got a report on that. Report on safety Darius Thomas, who came to the pool party. He is still waiting to see if he gets a Miami offer. And every single time one of these DBs commit, Matt, his chances probably get reduced a little bit, but at least he had fun.
Well, I mean, he's a safety cornerback, gains enough weight to even come down to a striker. I mean, he's an athlete in a sense, but yeah, they're trying to figure out numbers and if they can take him, but they're already trying to set up an official visit with him. Usually when they do that, it means they're either highly likely to offer or he's like right next in line to get an offer, that type of deal.
And then another story that is interesting, and I'll ask you to comment on these two, Daniel Lyons and Dante Anderson. We continue to bring them up because like Daniel Lyons committed to Florida State, and he's not the kind of kid that just does things on a whim. Like, this is a kid that's got his head firmly on his shoulders, and I think he sees an opportunity in Tallahassee to play early. He sees a Leonard Taylor sitting at his position at Miami, for example, and probably sees the opportunity, but he's still hanging around, and the cord has not been cut. There's still dialogue, and do you get the impression that Daniel Lyons and Dante Anderson are still very much in play?
Well, it's interesting. So I thought they were when you see him show up and look like they're having a good time at the pool party. Then I spoke to somebody close to the family, and he kept saying, Daniel Lyons, not a real good chance for Miami at all. Like, he really thought this through. He's going to Florida State. And I said, well, then, why would they come to the pool party? And the guy says, well, they had nothing else to do. So, that's on Miami for letting these kids come out there. If they're really not that interested, I don't know. But like, that's what the person said. And, I'm not optimistic. When you have local kids like that I know love Miami, a year ago at this time and have loved Miami for a long time, and then just to sort of see it evaporate in a short period of time is a little tough. It was a surprise to a lot of people when Daniel Lyons committed to Florida State. But this person also said, where they were initially steadfast, we're going to the same school together. They've now also realized that that's probably not going to happen, and they're okay with it. So, I'm not sure if Miami even really has a committable offer out to Dante Anderson right now. So, Penn State's starting to get on Dante hard. Georgia Tech's already been on him hard for a while. If Miami really wants him, I still think there's a good chance, but we'll just have to monitor. But I think the Daniel Lyons ship has pretty much sailed from what I heard.
And I don't have a problem with that one. I mean, I think that falls kind of in the classification of what I've been talking about. You might have to let some kids go if you're going to make the effort to raise the bar in terms of the talent level in the program. And like I said, I see the coaches doing that. I applaud it. And some of these guys that are going to be on the fence, if you don't commit to them right away, you're going to lose them. And to me, that's okay. The numbers are up in the program. Right now it's about getting elite football players, and can't do nothing but applaud what the coaches are doing, in my opinion. All right. And so a non-recruiting story, our 2021 preview series continues with a look at Georgia Tech, a team that's kind of interesting, Matt. I mean, they're on the improve. There's no question about it. How much we don't know. Didn't play them last year. And so didn't really get a good look at Jeff Sims, their young quarterback. But the one thing I do know is there's a lot of talent up there in the Atlanta area. And I know Jeff Collins gets after it. And Georgia Tech is going to get better. How good they'll be this year and how much they'll challenge Miami, that remains to be seen. But I think a lot of these ACC teams, while they're not great teams with high rankings or anything like that, they can be dangerous on a given week.
I mean, Georgia Tech should not be able to play anywhere close to Miami, just on paper. I mean, they just shouldn't. But at the same time, you've seen over the years, the most recent years, that these are the teams that give Miami problems. Like, when Miami gets up for a halfway decent team, they do a lot better than going into a game maybe where they're think they're going to win easily. That's just the way it's been. Maybe that culture change that Menendez is trying to get will click in. I mean, if it does, this is an easy 3-touchdown win to me. This is not a really good team.
All right, so you guys have a lot to dig into on the website. A lot happened over the weekend, a lot going on today. We hope you enjoy every bit of it. Thank you for joining us once again on Good Morning CaneSport. And until next time, I'll say goodbye, everybody.